For decades, the world lived under the shadow of nuclear annihilation. Two superpowers were locked in a deadly arms race, stockpiling weapons capable of wiping out humanity. But on January 3rd, 1995, something extraordinary happened. The United States and Russia came together to sign a treaty that promised to roll back the doomsday clock. This is the story of the Second Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, better known as START II, the nuclear deal that aimed to save the world. The Cold War defined an era of fear and suspicion. By the late 1980s, the United States and Soviet Union possessed over 60,000 nuclear warheads combined. Each nation stood on hair-trigger alert, prepared to launch missiles at a moment's notice. But when the Soviet Union dissolved, the world entered a new chapter. With Russia emerging as the successor state, both nations faced a critical question. Could they step back from the brink? The years following the collapse were filled with hope, but also uncertainty. Former Soviet republics inherited nuclear stockpiles, raising fears about rogue states and unsecured weapons. The urgency for action had never been greater. The answer came in 1991 with the signing of START I, which reduced the nuclear arsenal for the first time in history. But that was just the beginning. On January 3rd, 1995, US President Bill Clinton and Russian President Boris Yeltsin took the next step, signing START II. The treaty called for reducing strategic nuclear warheads by nearly 2/3, eliminating over 3,000 weapons. It also banned the use of multiple independently targetable reentry vehicles, or MIRVs, on land-based missiles, making first strike attacks less likely. Behind the scenes, negotiations were anything but simple. Both sides grappled with technical verification measures, the cost of dismantling warheads, and the questions of trust. Yet, they pressed on, believing the rewards outweighed the risks. Despite its promise, START II faced a rocky road. Ratification took years, bogged down by political disputes in both countries, and as relations cooled in the early 2000s, implementation stalled. By 2002, the treaty was effectively abandoned, replaced by new agreements that focused on more flexible approaches to arms control. Critics argued that NATO's expansion and US missile defense programs added fuel to the fire, pushing Russia to reevaluate its security policies. Trust eroded, and the momentum for disarmament faded. While START II ultimately failed to achieve its goal, it laid the groundwork for future achievements, including the new START agreement signed in 2010. More importantly, it showed that even in times of tension, diplomacy can pull back humanity from the brink. Today, as the world faces renewed nuclear threats, the story of START II reminds us that disarmament is possible, but only if we have the courage to keep pushing for peace. But challenges remain. Modernization programs in both the US and Russia threaten to reignite the arms race. Let me know what you think of the START treaties in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that shaped our world from 30 years ago.